Hey guys, I'm a dog for it once I get the scent. 4-player free-for-all on this one, which is not how I normally play. And nobody's their normal colors. It's a weird day. But what's not weird is the Liir are really good. And we're building some ship designs that may look just a little bit familiar to y'all. Level 4 shields, antimatter flicker warp, fucking antimatter cannons. And of course, we love the beam weapons, we love the torpedo weapons. I'm actually favoring barrages instead of blazers, at least until we get to cutting beams, which of course we unlocked. So this is a monstrous ship. It's not even quite done yet. You see, we don't have phasers yet. We're working on some pulsed phasers and phaser PD, which will make essentially, like, we get better armor too just as we go. But generally speaking, we're doing really good. It might get a little boring being like, oh, the Liir stomping again with their incredible technology, and it's like, well, maybe. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Oh, that's a reinforcement group, so it's not a good example, but, look, being sandwiched between enemies is not my favorite. I don't think anyone really likes the two-front war. We've had to make some garbage that I would never normally like. In the games you've seen, I've pretty much skipped the early and the mid game with the Liir. That's because your goal as the Liir is to skip the early game as fast as possible, at the very least. Even mid game's a little painful. And you're like, well, that's true of everyone. Like, everyone wants to be as strong as they can. But the thing is, the Liir early on are garbage. Like, even compared to other races, especially compared to other races, like, Fusion improved stutter warp missile boats. You have not known pain until you try to kill things with missile boats, especially enemy ships. They're decent against planets, which is nice because they're an automatically unlocked tech. So yeah, whereas now we've burned our first enemy world, and as you can see, we're doing the shoot and scoot thing where we go towards one planet and then midway we adjust to do another, thus achieving a complete surprise attack. It feels great. It is great. It's so much fun to do to the enemy. Uh, it's just, I was so fascinated by this game. I mean, obviously, the the interlocking, the difference between the races, their technology, their behaviors, the way the AI behaves, the way it all meshes together. For example, we got the Tarkas up here. Tarkas are a problem because they've got pretty decent FTL that lets them go anywhere. So I sort of focused there. I got a colony here early to counteract our own low speed at first. I tried going over here and taking this world multiple times, but they fucking drove me back. The humans are just so tenacious. They're sending a slow boat fleet up there. That isn't going to work. I must admit, I am tempted to let these guys go for 107 turns and then intercept them 1 year away from their destination. I think that's what I'm going to do to these guys because I'm like that. Oh, and there's the Hiver buddies. Good example. We've seen this before. There's our spy ship, just sort of hanging out, checking out the area. This world is not habitable for the humans, so they don't consider it to be theirs as much. So, they might attack a Hiver gate fleet once it's here, but until that gate fleet gets there, they don't care about it. I mean, they can't intercept because they got node drive. The human node drive is so cool. It's got a cool name. It's a cool idea. You think, oh, you go in a line, hyperspace lanes. For example, when you're facing the humans, what you got to do here is think, where could the humans possibly get here? Because something very critical to note, node drives can only go on a node of a certain size. Essentially, node drives cannot refuel in flight. So on a single journey, it can be multiple turns, but on a single journey, node drives can only go their fuel limit. So if the ship has 22 light years of fuel in it, they can't go on a 20, like 28. Like they could, if there was a node between these two, you couldn't travel it, even if you have tankers. Whereas of course in normal space, even if a ship has a low fuel limit, you just pack them with some tankers and you're fine. Humans can't do that. So, we know almost with certainty where the enemy is going to be. It is very likely that this is the only node between our territories, which means we only have to guard one direction, which we've been doing. Great band, by the way. So it's sort of a blessing to be against the humans. Of course, once we attack this cluster and the enemy will be able to get us, that'll be a different. And they did drive us off once. Because I tried to aggressively settle because, I don't know, I'm me. And it worked up here. Particularly, the other thing I want to talk about, like the node drive is interesting. The Tarks love to scout, so they've been sending scouts on all my worlds. And they actually took out this one, and I had to get it back. It's been like a century and a quarter, so some shit has happened while you guys were not looking. Is the new game. I'm intercepting their scout fleets as much as possible, because if you intercept a scout fleet, then the AI will just keep sending scouts forever. Like, they're very relentless about it. But what they won't do is send more. They won't take it as a clue that they should maybe attack more. The Liir are great interceptors. Maybe the only race that is better at intercepting is the Tarks. The Tarks and the Liir are definitely the interceptor races because they just swim across open space. Hivers got their gates, humans got nodes. Those can't be intercepted. And the thing is, node drives can't be intercepted even by the user. So we can't stop them from scouting this because we can't stop them short of the planet. Which means they know this is our planet. And I've got eyes watching Marshak very closely because they're very likely to mass in the stars nearby. So if I see a huge fleet going to Marshak, I know that they're coming, and I know that Oddity needs to be reinforced. Although they're doing decently. Whereas the scouting thing with the Tarkas is another example of this game is so good. The differences between the races, the fact that they all have different FTL. Like, I understand why Stellaris just switched to using hyperlanes and that everyone uses hyper, because it is frankly the best form of fictional FTL travel. It's so useful. Because it's limited, it's very useful and cool. You get choke points in space. But like, all the types are cool, and having them all represented in a single game, or having a lot of different schools, like you get gates, you get just warp drive, and you get lines like hyperspace lanes. I just think this game is really cool. I just think it's neat. And I just had these thoughts, and I'm like, why the hell don't I record a little thing and show off and talk about it? I think I've got nothing else to do this turn, which is a nice feeling. Recently, in the intervening months, because I haven't been doing much Sword of the Stars, I'm sort of picking it back up. Hell, why not? See, if I do this automatedly, that will bomb it out of the habitable zone. But I can sort of manage the destruction like this. You guys don't need me there. They can handle it. So we'll do what Liir do best, which is strike where the enemy's weakest. They're so good at ambush tactics. Interception, sneak attacks. I mean, they literally get shit like cloaking and bio-missiles, and the Liir AI will use that shit. It won't use it very effectively because they're still deeply stupid, but in another game, as the Hivers, I've been fighting like a couple Liir, and I might show you some of that, or maybe not, but they hit you with cloaking fleets. So The whole Hiver thing is you get overconfident because you're like, if I see you come in, I'll have a fleet there. And if you don't see them coming, they snipe your game, and you look profoundly foolish. I wish that I had I wish that I'd set these to their own hotkey, because the nukes ruin the planet. So I'm hoping, put it this way, the auto balance is so overzealous about bombing the planet, they'll keep going, even when it's just civilians. Whereas I mean, I get the meme reason of wipe them out, all of them. But civilians are not just neutral, they're useful to you. So you can make them your civilians. And it means you don't have to bomb the planet anymore. I basically never attack planets with torpedoes. You see, I'm doing the shields, we don't even have shield amplifiers or anything, because they already can't touch us. It's weird, even here, these guys only have Mark 3 shields, which is far below our usual. But they're still rated to be quote-unquote very strong, so you never know. I think because these guys are just nukes, I think what I'm gonna do is stand 3-man shift walls. Just because they're only nukes, and I wanna, like, nukes are very good at destroying population, but they fuck the environment up too. Yes, so I'm gonna reduce the number of nuke launchers, actually. We are in harmony. I don't see any platforms, really. Seems like antimatter torpedoes do a fucking funk line. Where's the weapons? Where's the hold fire? I know there's an area of effect. But soon it'll be over, don't worry. It's so good. Oh, the other thing I wanted to touch on. Okay. In D&D, there's the thing where the wizards start out really weak, but they get super powerful. Whereas fighters gain power in a relatively... The enemy is gone. They sure are. Okay, that's the... It's a little better. I mean, it's still we can colonize this, which is good. And I really oughta start taking these planets. And then laughing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a good front line. Oh, one nice thing about torpedoes is they are homing missiles, which means I don't have to point them at like. And fire, Elder. It does take several years off my life every time I have to manually point my ships at the enemy. I'm like, I wish I could rely on the crew to like do that, but I mean very clearly I cannot. Turning into the black. Okay, so I guess the trope name is linear warriors, quadratic wizards, or the other quadratic wizards, linear warriors. The Tarkas are the perfect example of warriors. They are strong, they're dependable, they really bottom out in a endgame scenario. They really like fade off, in my opinion, compared to everyone else. Like they can get big and tough, but again, compare it to the Liir. You start out so weak. You start out so fucking pathetic. So fucking garbage. And then you grow into the most horrifying and powerful race, bar none. With your only competition being the Hivers, who also have things like Farcasters, where they just explode in capacity. Capacity to fuck you up, is I guess I'd put it. It's the interplay between all these things. So even in a simple 4-game free-for-all where it's just 4 clusters of stars, just about the simplest. I mean, you could do one-on-one, which I very rarely do, actually. Might do more one-on-ones eventually. I don't know. Theoretically, it's the same as a 2-on-2. But not in, I like having AI allies, I don't know. But those are some of my thoughts that I had just sort of walking around the house today, like washing dishes, and I'm like, man, Sword of the Stars has amazing conceptual stuff, because I'm like that. Those are the thoughts that hit me. Hang on. This is the downside to my clever interception plan. One of the tankers spawned in and got immediately bodied. Ah, well. Do I have anything else to do, particularly? Really? I guess what I could do is take 2 of the cruisers that I've built. They're going on a little mission. Oh, gotta be careful. 22. Just in case. Oh, please tell me I have a tanker. I got a tanker. Give me some sustenance.
We begin construction now.
And I could be building mega freighters, but I set the economic slider to 150%, which effectively means I don't have to build as many freighters. And like, we're doing just fine. In fact, we're turning the corner and we're about to be monstrous. I went out here first instead of grabbing these because look at it from the perspective of where I'm attacking from. There's nothing here. There's nothing even remotely close. Whereas over here, now I can set my course here and just fucking have my pick and just fucking eat them like a lion, just gnawing into your stomach. I don't know. That's a little graphic. Try to think of a good, like termites eating your house out from inside. It's ironic because we're the fish, not the bugs. Moment of truth, baby. Moment of truth. Yeah, let's go. Ah, it's a lot of ugly. They like scouting. You can see this is not an attack, it's a scout because it's just one ship. It's probably a cruiser. The funny thing is they have started sending cruisers since I've been sniping them. This planet is going to build its own cruiser that will intercept them short of the planet. I think that's what I'd like to do. There's something faintly comical in the idea of detecting an enemy ship coming to your base and then building the ship that will fight them off just like on the spot and being ready before they get here. Another aspect of this game's setting is the idea that each turn is a year. It like fascinates me. I don't know. There are some things that say that turns are years, and I can't find them now. I think they like to be a little vague, so you can imagine it's weeks or it's months or whatever you want it to be. But there must be something. But regardless, the idea of a war that takes 130 years in space, not necessarily because it's like a 100 years war situation, but more that the technology and the distances enforce it, like a really big version of the ocean that you have to sail over for months to do a war. I was like, it's like the Forever War, or I don't know. That's something that is not explored much in sci-fi at all because it's really hard to tell our usual heroic character-driven narratives. Even if like, the only way you do it is with cryosleep and altered timeline perspectives, and like there are ways, but it's much tougher than it just happening on a time scale that we think of as normal of like weeks or months or even like years for the whole war, but not for like one ship going to another system. It's pretty wild. Okay, I promise I'm done yapping quite so fucking much. It's time instead to attack. And I'm actually going to show you guys a big proper battle where I got defenses, I got fleets, they're coming at me with a fucking titanic stack that's probably almost all cruisers. So first this, which I'm not even sure I'm going to show considering what's... Well, let's see their cruisers then. They got actual cruisers here. There is like a presence. A small one. I'm again going with the principle that I've innovated of going at the periphery first. Circulation always stops at the edges first, after all.
Our strength increases.
There. Alright.
Yes, we hear
Let's see
you.
what they got. Ooh, they brought a command ship. Okay, yeah, we're gonna take this a little seriously, folks.
Target received.
Look at them guns. Got them antimatter torpedoes,
Command
bro.
received.
There we go. See, you point them in the right direction. Even the... I mean, the laser lancers are pretty strong. Yeah, like that. Okay, now that we've killed the main bulk of their cruisers, I'm just gonna authorize them to go dogfight mode. Good God.
Mark this current and move as ordered. Command vessel is being attacked.
Alright. Small interruption there, but that's fine. The show must go on. Please tell me you idiots are moving. Yes, you're moving. Okay. I really like the sort of vector indication here. Also, if you hear me fiddling with my headset, that's just because
Command vessel is being attacked.
brain. I have a brain, I promise. I'm just checking to make sure I'm not muted, because we don't like it.
Shields are down.
See, the thing is, I recognize personally. Uh-oh. That's bad. Get the fucking point defense in there, guys.
Power to shields together.
We have a backup command ship because I figured this might happen. But you guys really need to... Okay, get them shields up. Honestly, anything below a level 4 shield really doesn't impress me very much. I'm sure it's still handy, but it's so expensive and costly, and it's such a vulnerable section. It's this weird curve where Mark III shields are almost okay. Mark IV shields are like nearly invincible. Especially when we get like shield magnifiers and shit, which should benefit the command ship as well. Come on guys, hit him with the frickin'... Hit him with like antimatter cannons. There we go. That's why we get these back mounted. Like, I really like the Liir engine sections because they have like cannon mountings. And I suppose like human ships have stuff like that as well. If you happen to roll high level shield tech, you can pull this sort of strat. We're taking minor damage. I mean, in return, we're inflicting planetary holocausts. So, you know, that's the stuff. Hopefully a little clean, I don't know. We're nuking it a lot. Done. Done like dinner.
Yes.
I didn't see any platforms because they didn't know we were coming. Which is a lovely feeling, by the way. We're just gonna mop these idiots up. Is that a police cutter? Yep. Yeah, I love police cutters. I can see why, I suppose.
There is no more need to fight.
Nice.
System update.
Okay, what do we got?
Small fleet approaching, Elder.
Much too small. God damn it. Okay, we're gonna get better colonization tech, though. Hopefully. Yeah, we have the ability to get better tech, which I'm gonna do soon. This is, attacking planets with nuke boats is so painful. But attacking them with energy weapons, it's cleaner for the environment, but it takes so much longer. So I'd just rather kill a lot of these worlds. Ugly. What's hilarious is we're accidentally bombing it into... Like, this world is still very much ideal for the Tarks, sadly. Could leave a ship to picket here. I don't know what that is. Hang on, are any of the booster tanks at 0? Okay. If a booster tank is at 0, then I'm willing to leave. I want that outnumbering bonus. I thought about picketing these systems. I'd rather just keep killing these guys. Ooh. There's an idea.
We hear your song.
Okay, fuck it. Just for the sake of trying to keep track of this stuff. Hopefully that doesn't cost me, like, the 1 point I needed. But it would be handy to leave pickets here, just to keep an eye on what's going on. Oh, this will also be very handy if there's civilians. This will suppress them. Everyone else, we need to go here anyhow. So we go here, then we keep going. Down here, we're just preparing for war. We got plenty of cruisers. This is a big stack. Like, I'm sure we'll win. But, I'd like some more. Honestly, I need to be making more burns. I don't know what I'm doing.
We shall leave steel and fire, Elder.
I'll sort things out and get the beginnings of a fleet going to attack the humans. Because they're not attacking me, they're a much lower priority. But I wouldn't want to let them just sort of tech up to horrifying levels of power completely. God damn it. Minor miscalculation. Because I couldn't see them while they were in the middle in deep space, I couldn't target them. Which means they couldn't be we probably weren't. I got a feeling this would happen. So they're going to notice that this colony exists. We don't like it, folks. We don't appreciate it. It's just a scout. But now they know Bob exists, sadly. I'm not going to show you guys what happens here. Viewer discretion is advised. Alright, now that Phaserpedia is unlocked, it's time to redesign every ship in the... Here we go, lads. This is the one. They're freaking scouting us again. That one I'll be able to stop, luckily. And they're going to have to worry about themselves before long. Obviously, the 4th fleet, the fleet of Resolve, will take the point here. It's kind of rare to be on the defensive as the Liir. It's kind of a new feeling. Not one I particularly enjoy. But it does give us something of an advantage. Alright, get him. Hold up.
Yes,
Back off a little bit.
yes, Elder. We will do what we must.
They're gonna get torpedo sandwich. Almost turned into a Jill sandwich. What are they doing? Just chasing mindlessly? Grab them. Who doesn't have? It looks like everyone has a target, which is good. Just keep it together, boys. I really want this one. It looks like they're switching. Just keep it together. Keep them relatively away from the planet. Defensive missile batteries are firing. They might be getting close to the planet, sadly. Alright, get them. Now that they've sort of broken through the line. Got some missiles in the back. Nice. Did a full... It's very rare that I'm fighting with my platforms. Their assistance. That feels pretty nice.
Shields are down, Elder.
Who's losing shields? Barrage. Maybe don't go right into the midst of the enemy. Get out of there and just run. Just start running away. Fall back. Gotta watch the command ship. although it is a modern engine, so pretty strong. The nice thing about the dogfighting is you can use the antimatter cannons on the side. So I could be like in a line formation, giving commands to every ship. Really don't feel up to that, mateys. Alright, get back in there, charge up. I'm charged, charge me, don't do it. Broadside that. They're getting through the shields because we don't have shield chargers. Let's try to keep everybody more or less together. Oh, those anti-matter torpedoes. They don't have very good arms. Alright, we got them all. I'm gonna pull you back because you've taken a hit. Oh, that was the wrong one. You pull back if you can. Just to get a fresh one. No point taking riskies. Let me get in there and get close. Keep them away from the planet. It looks like they've never even touched the planet. Planetary batteries are firing. The heavy planet missiles are coming in, which are just lovely. And the enemy has so much other shit to shoot their point defense at, they're not intercepting. Oh, that's the stuff. Folks, we love it. It's like deep scan. It's like a scan. Yeah. You can tell because there's not many weapon systems mounted on the front section. Using fusion cannons. I chronically underestimate. Just fall back.
Shields have been restored.
Just get out of there. Turning isn't going to be very fast, sadly. Oh, they're right in the way. Freaking. Just get out of there. Everyone else just get them. Just keep at it. I must say, guys, I believe we haven't taken a loss yet. It's pretty good. I feel like we inflicted some really bad. Oh, the other one managed to fall back, which is good. Let's see if we can get as many kills as possible. There we go. That's one. Oh, yeah, 0 cash. Sorry, guys.
We must withdraw for the moment, Elder.
And overall damages?
System update.
Very light. Not gonna lie, guys. I've never done this before, so now I can't see. Unfortunate. I think we've got this one in the bag. Just in case something stupid happens. You never know. Let's do it. Alright, round 2 of our defensive efforts at Lucis.
More swimmers have come.
Oh hey, we now have a significant outnumbering bonus. Not gonna lie, it feels nice.
We fire on this enemy.
That one. That one. Middle one's probably dead anyhow. I don't like them moving sideways. I'm a little uncomfortable with that. Let's shift sideways just a little bit so we can focus on them.
Yes, Elder. We will do what we must.
Alright, boys. We're gonna form up a bit first just so we can. Oh man, that's sort of like broadside thing. Use our cannons. Those antimatter cannons are doing almost as much as the friggin' torpedoes that were custom built around. It's good stuff. So once their first line is crushed, okay, guys. I mean, I know they're trying to maneuver. And, try not to bomb the planet either, please, maybe? Or fuck it. I prefer ball. Do whatever you think will be most effective. Interesting. Is that brief? Did they briefly flash the "don't want to fight" sign? We're shooting each other. Briefly. Not to worry, folks. Alright, I'm seeing those are deflectors. Those are. Now, I will say deflectors are pretty nice against what we're using as the gaze missiles and torpedoes. And I don't think deflectors can go down. And we're about to find out. It looks like they can. You know, I think in exchange for them not being as good as shields, they can't go down until you blow them up. We will then proceed to do. They did want a lot of our offense with those forward deflectors, though. Very impressive. I would like to kill all of them this turn, but we will certainly have them in the range where we can just auto-resolve them to death. Oh, that's this. Let me fucking break it apart. I must break. That's the stuff. Oh, yeah. It is, I believe, just about concluded. Especially with, yeah. Oh. All this time later, the game looks fucking great. It just does. They're being fed to us in tiny bits because their command ship is dead. Familiarly used sensation. And a little fireworks show to send them on their way. Okay. I figured they were just running away. Looks like they have one down. Luckily, the planet missiles know where they live. At least they're facing their death as brave warriors and shit, which is good. Good on them. Alright. The other one, they're gonna be fine. Thanks for watching, guys. Another special video. I love this game and I keep playing it. I don't know. Fun times. Come on, guys. It's not cool to ignore me like this. Gonna do it? Come on. Everything we got. Genocide. 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 Come on, find the last bunker. Find the last bunker full of fucking peeps. Why are you shooting your torpedoes at that, you fools? That'd be fair, I think.
System update.
Yeah, we got them.